Let's talk about Anakin Skywalker. Darth Vader. Oh, by the way, this is Jack Sparrow. And today we're going to talk about Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. So, as everybody knows by now, Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader. And if that is some sort of surprise to you, I really don't know what to say. But, in a galaxy far, far away, and a long time ago, excuse me, it's the rum. Anakin Skywalker was a prodigy of the Force. Created by the Force itself. Oh, well, of course I say that, Darth Plagueis and Darth Sidious did some sort of weird voodoo ritual that created Skywalker, and Skywalker was some sort of like middle finger from the Force itself to the Darths of the Sith Order. But who was Anakin itself? Anakin was a very raw, I guess you could say some sort of, if the Force itself in human form. Very raw. Doesn't know how to control itself completely. Anakin was ruled by his emotions. And in some ways, that's beautiful. Anakin was unrestrained, like the Jedi Order, who tried to enslave him, tried in its hardest to turn him into the drone that the Jedi had become. When the Jedi lived on Tython, the Jedi were balanced. They had the Ashla and they had the Bogan. And the Bogan was bad and the Ashla was good. And if you strayed too far into the Bogan, you were sent to the moon of Bogan to learn and to become balanced. Now, how does that relate to episodes 1 through 3? And Anakin, the chosen one, the Jedi of prophecy, the one who came of the Force to balance the Force. Well, it all goes back to when, actually it really goes back to before the Rusan Reformation, right? But really it goes to the Rusan Reformation when the Jedi and the Sith annihilated themselves, and the Rusan Reformation was to recreate the Republic and the Jedi Order. And this is where Disney fails us. This is where I get the whole, you have failed me for the last time. They don't understand balance. They don't understand balance at all. Balance is something. Balance is important, right? To Star Wars. The original Jedi knew and understood that if you were too far into the light, the balance of the Force itself was out of whack. And there would be more dark side to balance the light side, and thus birth the Sith Order. But when the Jedi itself was in balance, both the light side and the dark side, the Ashla and the Bogan, were in harmony. The Jedi understood this. When you had that first, I believe it was the first division something, I don't remember the name. I've kind of tuned out Star Wars since Disney took over and screwed things up. But I used to know all these things, and I used to know the names when I actually cared. But when the Jedi had that first split, when they had that war, the original war, and it was a civil war between Jedi brothers, some who believed in just the light, and some who believed in, hey, let's push this thing, let's see where this can go. That's when the Jedi itself had split towards going more towards the light, and some had gone more towards the darkness. But yet they still weren't fully dark. They still adhered to some light side. They just wanted to see where it went this way. And they didn't like it this way. And that's where the Sith were born. The Jedi were never intended to be just the light side. They were supposed to understand. It's ironic that Sidious himself talks about the dogmatic view of the Jedi of being just the light side, when there's a wider view. He's right. And this is where Lucas was a genius. Lucas understood the whole story, the wide picture that Disney does not. There's more to it. Disney has touched on it here and there as they cherry-picked from the EU. But then they missed the mark with The Last Jedi and the balance. That's why all these YouTubers have made all these theories about The Last Jedi and what Luke would be, and what Snoke would be, and what Kylo Ren would be. And they're being so wrong. They don't understand the nature of the Force. They don't understand the balance, what it means to be balanced. So I thought I'd kind of regale you with this. I want to start flexing my muscles about what my knowledge of the old EU used to be, much like Star Wars Reading Club. I used to have an encyclopedic knowledge of the EU. I used to know almost all things Star Wars. Not on the love spectrum that Anna has. She's special. But I used to know everything. I used to know all this stuff because it interested me and it spoke to me. I used to see a lot of Anakin inside my own life. Very talented but raw at the things that he applied himself to when he chose to. I used to see myself in that character a lot. I used to, back in the 90s, before Episode 1 came out, of course, I used to have like the lightsaber battles with my Nerf baseball bat as Anakin. Well, what was Anakin like before the Clone Wars? What was Anakin like before he turned to the dark side? You know, and I saw myself as that character, and I was so bummed out. And Jake Lloyd was chosen, and Hayden Christensen. I was like, I'll never be Anakin Skywalker. But that's the, you know, the whims and the dreams of a child who loved, you know, Star Wars, and who's so in love with Anakin as a character, of course. it's very interesting. But yeah, what do you think? What do you think how Disney handles the balance? How do you think Disney handled Anakin, the character, after the close of the 6 original movies? How do you feel that this whole balance thing has moved forward? Let me know down below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I have more I could share, but let me know what you're interested in, 'cause I have a lot of interests. I have a lot of things I could share. But if Star Wars is a thing that you're really interested in, I'll share that with you. And as always, this is Jack Sparrow reminding you to keep your eyes on the horizon.
Have failed me for the last time.